Great day to you. I am Benicia Ponder, your book writing and publishing coach from inspirationalauthors.com. And I am excited to bring to you the Breakthrough Moments author interview series. In this series, I am interviewing the authors of our newest inspirational devotionals collaborative, Breakthrough Moments. We are sharing 14 inspirational stories of faith, of resilience, and God's amazing love. I am so excited about this. I'm excited to bring you these authors to inspire you, to give you insight on their journey of writing. And hopefully, if you have been sitting on the fence, ready to get your message out, your story out of your heart and onto the page, hopefully something that we say today will inspire you to start your own journey. Now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Katherine E. James. Now, get ready, because Dr. Katherine is simply amazing. She was a part of our first inspirational devotionals project, Divine Direction. She's a part of Breakthrough Moments, and I've also had the pleasure of working with her on releasing her new solo project, Freedom is Our Birthright. So, Dr. Katherine, I'm going to throw it over to you because I want you to introduce yourself and tell everybody what you've been up to.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Benicia. It is my pleasure to be here again. As I say, it is an actual joy working with you and side by side, walking out purpose and destiny, because that's what this feels like. That's what it feels like. And so I serve, it's funny. So this, I'm still figuring out what category to put me in. So self-love is the anchor, no matter what it is that category I fall under. It is the Luke 10:27. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, soul, and strength. And it's that last part that Papa God has given me to champion, is your neighbor as yourself, as thyself. It's that part, because I believe with every fiber in me, first of all, that love wins, that it can never lose no matter what, that it is an answer. And I believe that we can't give what we don't have. So we've got to serve ourselves first and keep serving ourselves so that we live from a place of overflow. And as I walk this newer journey of mine, having retired from a 36-year career in 2019, as I walk this new journey, I keep evolving, and Papa keeps clarifying what that looks like for me. And so one of my newest clarifications is that my life's intention is to ensure that every soul knows love with a capital L, and knows that they are loved, that they know love and know that they are loved. And so I do that in lots of different ways, always having to do with using my mouth, this speaking, because I know that I've been called as a mouthpiece. That I know for sure. And love is the anchor of what comes out of my mouth and the downloads that come from Papa. And so the newest thing is coming soon. We're doing this launch. The launch is going to be on my 60th birthday, and it's all out. When I describe it to people, I say it's going to be me on steroids. And I'm already on 10. I'm already on 10, because I really, really, really love this life that I'm privileged to live. I love it. And so we're doing the Freedom is Our Birthright, and published by Divine. Give me the name. It's
Illumination Press. Yeah.
Say it again.
Illumination Press is our imprint.
Illumination Press.
Yes.
Illumination Press. And the journey has been amazing and so easy, and I'm so grateful for it. And what it has done is it's giving me the motivation to birth the other things that are in my belly, the motivation to do that, because this path. And so we're doing that. I serve as, some people call it a self-development, self-help coach, all those kinds of things. At one point, I was a self-love transformational coach and freedom conductor, using my inner Harriet Tubman to put all forms of bondage on notice that freedom is indeed our birthright. And that leads to the book that's being launched on March 9th.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Putting all forms of bondage on notice. The title of your chapter in Breakthrough Moments is Permission to Roar.
Yes.
Permission to roar. I love that, because when we're talking about breakthrough, and we're talking about freedom, we're talking about the ability for us to move past all of those obstacles that have been standing in our way for so long and preventing us from having God's best in our lives.
Yes.
We have to, God has already given it to us, right?
Yes.
It's so amazing.
Yes.
It's so amazing that, and that's one of the reasons why this particular devotional is about breakthrough, because a lot of times people are waiting for breakthrough to come, but we have to realize that we are the breakthrough. We are the ones that God has given the power to. One of my favorite scriptures is Ephesians 3:20. God is able to do immeasurably more than you could ask, think, or imagine. But it's that last part of it that people don't remember. According to his power that is at work within us. And so talk to us about this permission we have to be free, this permission that we have to break through.
Yeah. And so at creation, we were given that permission. But often we get to a place in life that we don't know it. We don't realize it. It could be lots of different reasons, but when we hesitate about that which we know is ours to do, or there's this pull and we stop and we second guess and we wonder, we don't realize that we have permission to show up as ourself, because that's all it is. Right? It's all it is. It's show up as you, doing the things that give you life. That's what we are responsible for. So there is and I'm not going to get the quote right, but there's a Howard Thurman quote that says something about, don't ask what the world needs, but ask what helps you to come alive. That's what the world needs, is us to come alive. And when we're not alive, we haven't given ourselves permission to roar. We haven't given ourselves permission to show up as ourselves. And so that's the thing, is first of all, realize that we were at the moment of creation, we were given that permission. And when we don't walk it out, or when it's oftentimes it's robbed from us, childhood kinds of stuff, you see, or relationships we have later, or things. In me, it was the message that I received from the broader media. And that's what my contribution talks about, my chapter talks about, is that I didn't see myself. And so I felt limited. I felt disempowered. I felt, if God gave me these words the other day, and I want to read exactly the words, but I was like, oh my God, that's it. I felt wrong. My packaging was wrong and limited and disempowered. Like I couldn't do anything about my current state.
Right.
And so I didn't feel permission. I didn't feel like I had permission. And little by little over life, as I did lots of things, in my family, I felt loved. And so in a sense that gave me permission, but it wasn't conscious. Like it wasn't conscious. I would do things, and really what it was, like permission to roar. A part of what's in the book, and probably in the chapter 2, is this idea that my soul kept screaming, there's more, there is more, there is more, there is more. And I would feel that, but I didn't know what it was. I wasn't conscious of it. But what I do know when I look back over my life is I would keep taking steps in desperation, though, not this confidence that I could do. Is like, no, I have to, not even being aware of what I'm doing, but no, this isn't it. Right. And so giving ourselves the permission to roar, like, I really just want, everyone to know that there is not another one of you in the entire universe, not another one. No one has, even if you are a triplet, no one has your fingerprint. We are unique, and which means that from that unique place, we were intended to bring something to the world, to the earth, to the universe, that no one else can, ever could, or ever will. And that when we give ourselves permission to roar, we answer that unique mandate on our life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. I mean, that is something that is so critical
Mhm.
that we realize. Because a lot of times when we're thinking that, oh, I have to do this or I have to do that, and you talk a lot about having other people to see things in you,
Yes.
and help you to move
Yes.
forward. Talk
Yeah.
about that. Talk about the importance of,
Yeah.
because sometimes we just don't know to flip the switch. Sometimes we need somebody else to point out, hey, the
Yeah.
switch is over there. You just need to go and turn it
Yes.
turn it on. So talk about that a little bit, about having people to support you on your journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And so, a couple of things. One, in for me, I had a privilege of a 20-year teaching career in higher
Mhm,
education.
mhm,
And that was because one of my teachers told me I was a teacher,
mhm.
basically. I had no idea. Like, I didn't give myself permission to dream because it was too risky. And, it felt impossible. And so I didn't even think about it. I just did what I knew I could do. But in watching others, I would simply see what they did. And if it felt right to me, like it was mine to do, I would imitate them.
Mhm.
So a lot of people I hooked onto their caboose and
Yeah.
followed their footsteps. And that allowed me to get so many places. But then when I began to look back, I began to write for the chapter in your book, right?
Mm.
For freedom is our birthright. I began to realize these other people who weren't like me. Because at first I thought that I needed people to be like me, that I needed them to
Mm.
have my experience of poverty as a child, growing up in the inner city, being a Black woman in America, because then if they did it, I could see me and I could believe through them.
Right.
But then I realized as I was writing, there were some other people who didn't look like me, but they believed in me. It was their belief in me that gave me the courage to then take either the steps that they described or the steps that they did. And
Yeah.
so it was that belief. But I think the core of it is because in my family, children were valued.
Mm.
So even though I didn't feel valued from the broader world, society, it was the value that I felt loved and accepted in my family that helped me to be buffered enough that I could still keep moving, even though I felt that. That
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And that is so important for
yeah,
us to I
yeah,
mean, and sometimes, and I get it, because I've had experiences where I've come across people that have not had that same background. I grew up in a family with two loving parents, with an extended family that nurtured and poured into me.
yeah.
But I will say this, even though I struggled still with
Mhm,
that idea of self-love. Even
mhm.
though even to this day, my parents are just amazing. I have a
Yeah,
great support system,
yeah,
but it's only been in probably last 5-10 years
yeah,
that I have come fully into knowing, hey, I'm a pretty cool
yeah.
person.
Right,
I
right.
can I can share and receive love.
Mhm.
Um, so what do you say to that person who is, no matter what kind of background you're coming from, no matter, whether you grew up in that and you saw it, or it wasn't there and you missed it, what do you say to that person who is questioning whether or not they can roar, questioning whether or not that freedom is their birthright? Like, what do you say to that person who just can't see it right now?
Yeah, yeah. So what I like to do, and it really depends on what the venue is, because it depends on who I'm talking to.
Hmm.
If I'm talking to a person of faith, I just ask them, how old are you? And they'll give me their age. So for me, I would say I'm 59. And I would say, wow, 59 years ago, Papa decided that the earth needed you,
Hmm.
that the earth needed you, not somebody else. 59 years ago, Papa said the earth needed you in your, you know, uh,
Yeah,
way that you're put together.
yeah,
So you are uniquely you because you are an answer in the earth. And sometimes life convinces us otherwise. So I'm just inviting you to consider that. If that is true, then how might you show up differently from this moment forward?
Mm.
Do you see? So
Yeah.
that's my invitation to them. I just want you to consider that he needed you. And as a result, and in that moment, the other piece I need you to get is that moment and there was this amount of characteristic and this skill and this and this and that, all for us to continue working it out. But also you got a portion of Papa's breath that nobody ever in the universe ever got and ever will. You got a unique portion that's just yours. Now, what you gonna do with that?
Yeah.
See, so that's my invitation to those who believe in that way. And for those who don't believe in that way, I go to the fingerprint. Scientifically, no one else has your fingerprint. No one else. And so no one else is you. And you are a unique part of humanity's puzzle. And what does it look like if your piece is not in the whole? What does it look like if your piece doesn't show up? What does it look like if your piece isn't missing? Your piece is your unique contribution. Let's get about the business of figuring out what that is. That thing that makes you come alive, the things that brings a smile to your face, that thing that automatically give you joy that you would do for free. What is that thing? That's your gift to humanity. So that's what I would say to them. Let's start there.
Yeah, let's start there. Let's start there. That is so beautiful. And I pray that as you're listening to this, that you understand the truth of Dr. Katherine's words, that you understand that your unique breath, your unique fingerprint, the uniqueness that is you. Like as you were speaking, Dr. Katherine, all I could think about is that God had all these materials that he could have made, packaged us in. And he said, okay, I want Benicia to have that. I want Dr. Katherine to have that. I want her to look like this. I want her to sound like this. I want her to have this attitude, this personality, because like you said, we are the key. We are the solution. Like it's not mass. We are not mass produced.
We are not mass produced.
We are unique, one of a kind, originals. And if we take out that, if I try to look like Dr. Katherine, sound like Dr. Katherine, then there is a void that I'm not able to fill. So get that. I'm getting it. I'm getting excited. I get excited, even though you know it. When you hear the truth, it just stirs your soul so much. So Dr. Katherine.
So let me add this on the end of that. So there's this statement that I use to kind of put the seal on it, that we are irreplaceable, unrepeatable, remarkable miracles with our own special brand of brilliance. Irreplaceable, unrepeatable, remarkable miracles with our own special brand of brilliance.
That's a poster that needs to be on somebody's wall.
Right.
That is it. Yes.
So I just invite us to look in the mirror and say that to ourselves every day. I am an irreplaceable, unrepeatable, remarkable miracle with my own special brand of brilliance. And I invite us to look up what those words mean.
Yes. It's powerful. Powerful. So Dr. Katherine, within this breakthrough moments, now, like I said before, you were a part of the inaugural Inspirational Devotionals Project, which was Divine Direction. We were 15 times best-selling author, 15 categories on Amazon. So, and not just at the launch, but we continue, that book is continuing to inspire. Even 8 months after the launch, we were still #1 in 15 categories. So
Love it.
what made you decide to join another project? I consider that the highest honor when someone says, hey, I love working with you. I want to work with you again. What was it that made you say, I have more to share? Because some people might think, oh, I tell one story, one part of my life, and that's it. I don't have anything else. But you came back and you have a totally new story,
Yeah.
a new part of your life that you're sharing, and you're still coming back. So what made you want to come back?
Well, I have lots of stories to share, but what really made me want to come back is it's a no-brainer. Really, working with you is a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer. It is so easy. It's delightful. It is, you are, you are excellent. You're efficient and effective, and you do what you do well. So for those of us, like, I don't know that part. I don't know the business of it. And more importantly, I don't want to know.
Mm.
And I don't want to have to know. I
Yeah.
don't want to have to wonder, did all the boxes get checked? I don't want to have to wonder that. And in working with you in the first project, it was clear. And even though you had some stuff to happen in life, right?
Mhm.
You explained what was happening, then you came back, you talk, you keep us informed of what's going on. I never have to wonder. So I can just do my craft, do my business. I'm a person who so firmly believe in, let's get in our lane, let's stay in our lane, because when that happens, I have permission, I have the freedom to go deep in my stuff and
Yeah.
broad, because then I feel more comfortable and more at ease. And then my creativity can flow without feeling like I'm bumping into things, wondering, oh, did we, or what about this, or what about that? And so, so working with you is just a delight, and
Oh,
it's comfortable, right? It's comfortable. Now,
oh.
I'm a storyteller at teller at heart. I'm a storyteller. So I have a niece who was like, Auntie, you take a long time to get to a point. She's like, you take a long time to get to a point. And my son and my husband, they like, okay, here we go. Settle in, because she's gonna make a point, but we're gonna have to know all the details.
Yeah.
And so you created a platform for that to happen, and you give us the framework. So I have to tell the interesting thing is, because when we did it here, like, I was inspired, and so I submitted from the inspiration, and I didn't, like, normally I have the framework here and my work, and I do step by step by step. But this time, I don't know what I was doing. I went on, I did, I had it, it was beautiful, it flowed, and I submitted it. And it got kicked back, and was like, oh, this is good. And Dr. Benicia likes, wants to make sure that all the chapters have the same format. I was like, girl, what did you do? I went back and read. I was like, oh, you know better than that. So went back, but I had a delightful time working with, I don't remember her name, but
Karen.
Karen, working with, it was a
Yes.
delightful time where it was a lot of help. But even that was a wonderful learning experience for me. So yeah, so that's why, because you say you the GOAT.
Well,
In my experience, right? In my experience, because I've had
yes.
other experiences. And so me being able to just show up as me, it works for me.
Yes. I love that. I love that. And Karen Crumpton is our lead editor. She edited all the stories. And we talk about staying in your lane, and I do editing. I do it all the time. But when you're dealing with multiple authors at one time, it's kind of hard to manage the project and do the editing and all of the other stuff. And so this year, Karen edited our first book, but then this year I was like, okay, I'm not going to be the middleman, because last year I read all the stories and then I sent them to her, and then I commented, and then I was going back and forth with the authors about the edits. This year I said, I'm gonna let Karen handle it. And she's like, okay, I got it. So from start to finish, submitted the chapters to her. I told her what the vision, she knew the vision. And she just did a beautiful job. I didn't have to get in the weeds, and that was so freeing this year. And I think the process flowed a lot smoother because I wasn't in the middle trying to interject all the time about that editing process. And she is a beautiful editor. She has such clarity of thought, and she's able to take words and do some amazing things with them. So I am giving kudos to Karen Crompton, who is so superb at that, and one of the reasons why our project is so cohesive. Like, the stories are of so many different walks of life, so many different experiences, men, women, Black, white, different nationalities, different places in the world, but they all come together under one central theme. And that's because of the editing. That's because of the framework and being able to just bring it together so it doesn't feel disjointed, that you pick up whatever story you pick up and you're going to feel that sense of God's love, of faith, of resilience, of just amazing breakthrough. So Dr. Katherine, I want to thank you for joining us in the project. And I'd love for you to share any final words that you have to share about permission to roar, about breakthrough. So I'm gonna hand it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Just wherever you are, I invite you every day to just take 5 minutes and be with you. Just take 5 minutes. And if you can, over a course of time, that 5 minutes will really yield you 25, but the consistency is the key. The thing is to get quiet. It's all the noise that often stops us from even knowing that there is a roar in our belly. It's often the noise. So if we can get quiet every day, you will realize that there are babies in your belly that need to be birthed. And then as you do it, you take steps, the roar will just come with each birthing. And after a while, you will realize that there's never competition. There's never a need to compare yourself to anyone. There's never a need to really hide and pretend, to shrink, or any of those things, that we can show up fully as who we are, unapologetically, but apologizing when we make missteps, because that's just a human journey, but not apologizing for the core of who we are. So just give yourself permission to be. You're gonna fall, just get back up like a toddler does. They don't hear no, and they don't think twice about something that's too big or too tall. And pooping in their pants, meaning that at times we'll make mistakes. They're just like, oh, let's get it cleaned up and get up and try again. I invite you to just give yourself permission to love on you well and to be you. That's what I would say.
Thank you. As always, amazing, awesome, so empowering. So for those of you who have not yet picked up your copy of Inspirational Devotionals, this one is entitled Breakthrough, and we're sharing stories of faith, of resilience, and God's amazing love. So I invite you to go over to inspirationaldevotionals.com. You'll be able to go there and see all of the authors. You'll be able to get a direct link to purchase the book, and just share it with everyone you know, because I am so convinced that when you choose to be the breakthrough, you're going to see God do some amazing and wonderful things in your life. Dr. Katherine, again, thank you. I'm Benicia Pondry, your story coach and book publishing strategist at inspirationalauthors.com. And it has been my pleasure to bring you this interview in our Breakthrough Moments author interview series. I invite you to continue to join us and check out all of our interviews, meet all of our authors. Until the next time we meet, I am wishing you an abundance of power, purpose, and prosperity. Remember that you are the light of the world, and it is time for you to let your light shine. Bye-bye.